encourage you to active participate. Please feel free to submit your questions via the chat box, and if we have time at the end, we will address them during the Q&A portion. Well, now let's get started. Our first question goes to João Vitor. João, can you give us an overview of how geopolitics of energy is shaping international relations and driving the competition/collaboration on low-carbon energy issues?
Thank you, Hugo, for your question. Hi, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for the invitation, especially Brics Youth Energy Agency and also EnergyC. I will answer that question with a very quick presentation that I will share with you all. Are you seeing my presentation? Yes? Okay, so about geopolitics of energy, we are witnessing a lot of concepts regarding the geopolitics. We heard a lot about geopolitics of oil, natural gas. Now we're seeing geopolitics on mineral resources, critical minerals, hydrogen, and a lot of other concepts. And now we are watching also to emerging concept regarding the geopolitics of low carbon energy. So my question is how we can take patterns or continuities in all of these concepts. It is the power relations that guide international and states relations and how geopolitics drive collaboration and also competition over natural resources, critical routes, and also even territories. So geopolitics of energy is shaping power relations between states concerning reliable, affordable, and increasingly clean energy sources. And as we are witnessing mutual forums for discussions, energy planning will be a crucial pathway to guide all the states throughout this energy geopolitics and amid the climate crisis and the geopolitical instability in the world. So energy policy and energy planning will depend on how we interconnect security, equity, and sustainability. And Brazil in G20 is supporting the Global Coalition for Energy Planning. And that's a very important topic because I'm talking about energy planning and not an energy plan, because each country will make its own energy transition considering its own resources. So the mission for energy planning is not technological prescription, but to ensure that each country make its own pathway. So in this sense, the energy transition also brings geopolitical reconfiguration that will determine countries' future roles and influence. So we can see that all global investments in clean energy now is very focused on few countries like China, North American countries, and European ones. So it brings us some perspectives that how fair this energy transition can be to developing countries since most investments are concentrated in few countries. Currently, the geopolitics of energy is marked by significant change. Perhaps oil and gas countries will not have the current influence over the next decades because countries with abundant renewable resources are gaining greater geopolitical relevance. But I do believe that oil and gas sector will also play a crucial role for energy transition in the coming decades. So the challenge is how to conciliate both fossil fuels with clean energy to make this energy transition more fair and also affordable and reliable for each country. In this context of geopolitics of low carbon energy, some countries, especially powerful countries like China, United States, and also European Union, are driving public policies concerning low carbon energy. And I believe that those policies will influence how other countries also formulate its public policies. We can mention China 14 5-year plan from 2021 to 2025, the Inflation Reduction Act of the United States, and also the Repower EU of European Union that are putting clear targets for clean energy and also reducing emissions. But the fact is that those countries are not only concerned about clean energy because it's clean, because it's tackling climate change, but how these countries are competing or collaborating over cross-cutting technologies and bringing industrial capacity and expertise in order to not depend on each other. So perhaps the energy transition and the geopolitics of low carbon energy is driving us to a more unstable world where these countries will compete with each other for investments and for knowledge over the low carbon technologies in the coming decades. Yes, I'm speaking from Brazil. I'm based in Rio de Janeiro, so I like to focus now on some Brazilian energy policies and how international policies is influencing our country. I will not delve deep into all of these Brazilian energy policies, but I would like to emphasize that the learning process that all of these energy policies focus on biofuels, and now we are driving policies for hydrogen and green mobility, but how a learning process throughout decades has brought Brazil to a very well positioning to lead energy transition in the world. According to the World Energy Council, Brazil is the 12th best positioned country to lead energy transition in the world. Of course, Brazil still have some challenging issues concerning prices of energy. It's a contradiction because Brazil has low costs for producing renewable energy, but our energy tariffs are the highest in the world because of dysfunctional energy or economic policies that brought a lot of subsidies for the energy tariff. So it's a hard issue to cope. Of course, Brazil also have some challenging issues regarding financing as a lot of other developing countries. But in considering our competitive advantage on renewable and natural resources, Brazil is quite well positioned to lead and to collaborate with the energy transition in the world and tackle also the climate change. Considering Brazilian position compared to other BRICS countries, that is the focus of our discussion, Brazil is significantly ahead of those BRICS countries in transitioning its energy matrix. We can see in this presentation how the total energy supply in Brazil is 47% dependent on renewables sources. That is quite ahead compared to other BRICS countries like China, India, Russia, and South Africa. Considering the power generation, almost 90% of our electricity is coming from renewable sources as well. So Brazil is significantly ahead of other countries. And we can see as well that our challenging position is not related to the energy sector, but as the fifth most emitter, GHG emitter in the world, we have challenging issues concerning deforestation, land use, agriculture. So perhaps the transition for the energy matrix is not a challenging issue for Brazil, since we are already on a very good position compared to other countries. But the question here is not only about energy transition, but assuring and securing the energy security. So that's why BRICS is bringing perhaps more players to join BRICS. We have seen in the past year that BRICS is becoming BRICS Plus, with more countries joining this block. And of course, this will determine how BRICS relates with the Western countries. And I also believe that the increasing of players in BRICS blocks also strengthen our legitimate position in the world. But of course, this brings us some questions concerning energy security, because we are bringing together the most important consuming countries of oil and gas in the world, like China and India, with those countries that are also the biggest oil producing countries, like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. So perhaps BRICS is collaborating to guarantee also both energy transition with energy security. In this context, Brazil is also influencing the BRICS countries with the ethanol diplomacy regarding our very good position on biofuels. We can see in this chart that Brazil is top leader in the world concerning biofuels share in the transportation use of energy, and how this domestic position is influencing our international diplomacy concerning the biofuture platform, the sustainable mobility on ethanol talks, and also our position on creating the Global Biofuels Alliance. And Brazil and India cooperation was very important to create this Global Biofuel Alliance, since Brazil and the United States in the past years were not succeeding well on international diplomacy for bringing international market for biofuels. So BRICS is quite important for making this alliance through the G20 forum. And finally, for my final remarks, is driving some questions, that is, the geopolitics of low carbon energy will lead the powerful countries, the superpowers in the world, like China, US, and European Union, to compete for the access and domain over cutting-edge technologies. BRICS also is by far a legitimate bloc, but regarding this turbulent and unstable world, our challenge position is to move beyond a self-interest manner of relating to each other to a more cooperative and shared approach. And this challenge is how we cede sovereignty over some issues if we want to build a more cooperative and shared approach for international relations. And finally, I would also like to pose the fact that Brazil, as leading presidency over G20 in this year and the COP30 in 2025, Brazil needs to establish itself as a key player and international articulator to advance this agenda. So thank you so much. And Hugo, the floor is yours. Thank you.
João, thank you for your insights on how geopolitics of energy is shaping international relations. It is worth highlighting how the Brazilian public policies over the last few decades have indeed positioned the country as a leader in the international scenario, with great examples when it comes to energy transition. It was also important to understand the role of BRICS in ensuring energy security to the world. Now let's move on to our next guest, Thaynara. Thaynara, how can energy geopolitics, with its diverse energy realities, collaborate with the G20 and other global economies to ensure a fair, efficient, and a resilient energy transition amid the climate crisis and growing energy insecurity?
Hello, all. Thank you, Hugo, for your for this dialogue and the opportunity to bring some remarks. So I want to be given a presentation to answer this question, but I will bring some remarks of this topic. So firstly, I believe that we are in time of profound transformation. So, and we live these transformations every day. So the climate crisis not only amplifies environmental and social impacts, but also puts our energy security at risk. So extreme climate events directly affect energy production and distribution capacity, creating a situation of local and global vulnerability. So, however, as we face this challenge, a unique opportunity arises to rethink the way we produce, distribute, and consume this energy. So, when we talk about Brazil, it's know that the country has one of the cleanest energy metrics in the world, with a larger part of its electrical generation coming from renewable source, such as hydroelectric power. We have also advances in the diversifications of our electrical metrics with the use of wind, solar, bioenergy sources. Yes, but our system still faces vulnerabilities, especially in periods of drought, with affect hydroelectric production. So energy diversification and the fortified transmissions networks are essential issues to ensure long-term energy security in Brazil, I think. And Brazil was a host of the G20 or G20 countries in this year. It can promote debate on how developed countries can transition to a more resilient and sustainable energy metrics. And now thinking about the Russia, this country is an energy superpower with vast reserves of oil and natural gas, which are vital to the global market, you know. However, this dependence on fossil fuels places the country is a sensitive position in the face of global decarbonization demands. So we need to understand that diversifying the Russian metrics, even if to a lesser extent, can increase the country energy sector in the long term, considering the impacts of the climate crisis on the infrastructure. So about the India, has a growing energy demand with the challenge of balancing its rapid economic development with environmental sustainability. Although the country depends on coal, was its main source of energy. So there are large investments in solar, wind, and hydroelectric energy. So India can play a crucial role in promoting innovations that integrate renewable source, but it still needs to address issues of infrastructure and energy access in rural areas. About China, is a global leader in renewable energy with a larger investments in solar and wind energy. However, the country is still heavily dependent on coal. The transition to a cleaner metrics is a crucial, but it needs to be carried out in a way that doesn't compromise economic growth. So expanding its energy grids and investing in storage technologies are areas in which China has slow significant progress, I think. So for South Africa, faces significant challenge with the dependence on the coal and energy infrastructure that cannot keep up with demand. So this country has ambitious plans to transition to renewable energy source, but needs technical and financial support to modernize its infrastructure and make this transition viable. So with the recent inclusion of the countries such as Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, sorry, BRICS becomes even more influential on the global energy scene. So especially due to these countries who are major oil exporters. Although they have vast reserves of fossil fuels, they are invest heavily in renewable energy and carbon capture technologies, which reinforce the global transitions to a low carbon economy. So these countries can bring a strategic vision to BRICS on how to balance their role as suppliers of conventional energy and pioneers in clean energy technologies. So I think the G20 or G20 was one of the leading global economic forums, offers a unique platform for measures economy to discuss how we can collaborate, restructure our energy systems. So in the case of Brazil, there's a great opportunity for leadership in a discussion that favor inclusive global energy transition, considering the needs of both developed and emerging countries, like finance for the energy transition, just because it is essential to discuss ways to mobilize capital, especially for developed countries, so that they can implement more sustainable energy systems. And another is a cooperation for energy resilience, because the G20 can serve as a space to share best practice and technology that help countries become more resilient to climate disasters with BRICS. And the cooperation between G20 and BRICS countries and other G20 economies can help ensure the most vulnerable countries are least impacted by energy crisis, I think. And the last ones, not more important, innovation technology. I think innovation is a clean energy technology and smart grids is essential to addressing global energy challenge. Brazil, together with the other BRICS members, can highlight the importance of investment in solar and wind, biofuels, and energy storage. Additionally, carbon capture and storage technologies can be integrated into more traditional energy systems to reduce global emissions. So, and we understand that the climate crisis and the energy insecurity are forcing a paradigm shift in how we think about and manage energy. So we can no longer treat energy supply as an isolating issue. I think the effects of the climate crisis are deeply linked to our infrastructure, food sector, and even geopolitics, and of course, next generation. So I believe that the BRICS and the G20 must act collaborative with the youth movement to ensure that the energy transition is efficient, fair, and resilient to the crisis they will centrally face. So it's a global challenge, but also is an opportunity to redesign the future of the energy. That's it.
Thank you, Thaynara, for showing how BRICS countries can cooperate so we can now develop together towards a more sustainable future. Brazil's current presidency of G20 is definitely an opportunity to lead developing countries in a discussion for a fair energy transition, and we should take advantage of this position. We will now call our next panelist, Iure. Iure, could you introduce us the Brazilian Federal University of Paraiba's tool on energy data and explain how this could be explored in the international scenario?
So the first question is, can you hear me? It's okay? So I'll try to share my screen. And I don't know if it's possible. So just a moment, because I think that we have a problem here in my computer to share the screen. Just one moment, please.
Would you like me to share the screen for you?
So just let me try just one more time. I think okay. Let me see. You can see the presentation now? Can you see?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. You can go.
perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning, good evening for everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you with this computer and help me to show you my presentation. So my name is Iure. I'm talking with you from João Pessoa. It's a wonderful city in Brazil. When you see the map, you can find easily João Pessoa, because it's the city that we have the most eastern city in all of the Americas, where the sun comes first in our continent here in America. So I'm a man with hair and beard black and the eyes black, and a white man, as I can say. And here my presentation, I will try to bring a discussion in this situation that we are talking about, involve energy, about energy security, energy transition. We have an important component that is the comparison between the countries, right? Now, what the countries are doing for this kind of world that we want, that we can find clean air and clean water and have well-being in this situation. So in this kind of discussion, the international relations, we have the necessity, we work with tools that bring us data in computational, and we need to use the tools that we have in our websites. So do we have a challenge for us? How can we work with data and web tools that can bring us information to work better with this situation that involve energy transition and energy security? So I'm trying to talk about this issue in my presentation, and maybe we have a particularity in our presentation here because we bring a solution. We bring a solution for this discussion. As a research, as a professor, we develop a platform to help the countries to move on, to improve, to enhance their capacity to work with this challenge that the energy transition, energy security bring us. So the first thing that I would like to tell you that we have this challenge in the world that we can find the targets in the SDG 7, right? The SDG 7, you know, it's come from the 2030 agenda from the United Nations. And it's about ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. And we have 5 targets in this, you know? So you need to enhance universal access to modern energy. You need to increase global percentage of renewable energy. Third, we need to double the improvement of energy efficiency in the world and promote access, research, technology, and investments in clean energy. And at the final targets of this SDG is expand and upgrade energy services for developing countries. So when we try to work with this, we need data. We need data. You need tools to help us to understand how the countries and the regions are work with this problem that SDG 7 put out and can see, as we can see. So in this world, we have a lot of data, but we need to organize this data as in the way that you can understand what is the panel of the situation in the world to improve this energy security and energy transitions. So I would like to show you the first tool that we can find in the internet. We have this tracking SDG7 is a website that that are made from International Energy, Arena, United Nations Statistician Division, and the World Bank and World Health Organization. In this platform, you can find a lot of information about the SDG7 targets. So we can find global results about access to electricity, access to clean cooking, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and a lot of information about the targets that I show you in the slide before. And we have a lot of graphics and tables that we can find the contents. And as you can see here, you can show a specific country and you can try to reach informations about real regions in the world and the continents in the world. And when you access the data for the country, we have this kind of card with specific information about, for example, Brazil. And I would like to show you another tool that we have in the website as the platform that we can find in the International Energy Agency. This is the Energy Statistics and Data Browser. And in this tool, you can find a lot of information about consumption, production, CO2 emissions, and a lot of information and about and you can see through the graphs, the maps, a lot of information, and you can find information for a specific country or a specific region that we can find. You can change the different kinds of graphs, as you can see, and you have, and there is a possibility to extract the informations specifically to improve the studies that the tools that can bring for us. So, and this is the kind of the web tools that we can use for our work in energy. So we have access to documents about the policies that we have in countries and regions about energy, not just data, and you can access this. So we have this platform in Brazil, CE Brazil. We can find information not just about the country in Brazil, but all the regions and the states that we have here in Brazil, that there are here in Brazil. So you can find information and tables and graphics and kind of this. So there is a lot of information, as you can see in these web tools. So this can help us to work with this. But there is a particularity in these three tools that I show you. In the United Nations, International Energy Agency, and website from Brazil. We can't find information about the agreements that are made between countries. Oh, so we don't have information about that. But if I want to know information about agreements that between Brazil and India and South Africa and China or Russia, so we need to go to the repository of agreements that are maintained for different countries. Here we have the example from USA, where we have TIS platform. But here, what do you need to do to find the agreements? You need to click in this country, and you have a list of agreements. You need to read one by one to know if the agreement is about energy, and to try to know the research or the matrix of the agreements. So you have a lot of work with this. Another repository of the agreements where we can find information about the cooperation between the countries is the platform, Concordia platform, that is maintained from the foreign minister, is maintained from Brazil Minister of Foreign Affairs. And here you can put the title of the agreement. So here is more easy. You can put energy, but you have another list of the agreements, and you need to open these agreements to try to know what is the research, what is the matrix of this agreement. And at the list, you have another platform for United Nations. In this situation, you have another list of agreements. So we developed here in Paiva, in Federal University of Paraíba with our group at the Energy platform, where you can find easily the information about agreements between the countries. And we have two specific platforms in Analytics, a platform where you can find information from agreements from Brazil with a lot of countries and international organizations, and about the partners, information about the research and the metrics. And we have the search for docs where you can try to reach information by continent or regions and a specific research. And we have a platform Word in Analytics where you can find information about all of the countries and all of the international organizations. The information that we bring in this platform, we take this from United Nations cities online. So here we have easily access to the information about the agreements in the between the countries, international organizations. So I need to tell you for the end that we don't have another tool like Analytics in the world. This is the place where you can find informations, organized, systematic information about agreements from Brazil and other countries, international organizations. So this is a pleasure and a contribution from science and technology innovation from Brazil for the world. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Iure, for introducing us to such a valuable tool developed by a public university, a tool which allows us to compare and monitor energy cooperation among countries. Let's go to our final panelist, Astrid. Astrid, could you give us an insight into how can we understand how energy diplomacy has evolved among the BRICS countries?
Hello, everyone.
Would you like me to share the screen?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I will share my screen. Okay.
Oh, I'm okay.
It's possible to see?
Yes.
Okay,
You can go.
thank you. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you here. My English is not the perfect English, then I will need some help probably. Now I will show you some use case of the tool that Professor Iure has presented for you. As he pointed, this platform aims to facilitate the work of any user researching data on energy diplomacy. Therefore, the platform seeks to be useful by providing various visual and graphical tools. Then I will show you the study of the evolution of energy diplomacy in the BRICS is a use case of the Energy platform. I will demonstrate a use case that can help better understand the development of energy diplomacy among the BRICS countries over the past few years, more specifically from 1919. However, we must keep in mind that we are analyzing the data available from Brazil, and we need to verify if the data from the other countries in the respective repositories are links, as the information may not be up to date. When we enter the platform, we see this image, and then we look for Brazilian agreements. Sorry. When a user, for instance, in my case, myself, wants to research on a specific state of country or a block of states or a block of countries, they simply need to enter the name of the country, and all relevant data will appear in the platform. You can see, for instance, the agreements, the partners, the resources, the main resources. We will navigate to the general panel from Brazil, since the word select section is still under construction. When we enter this section, we can see Brazil's main energy partners. Like I say, for instance, we will see all the countries or the organizations, like the Professor Iure said. And we can see the energy how the energy metric is composed according to the agreement signed. And then in that same section further down, we can see that the agreement that have been signed over the time between Brazil and the rest of the world. The data, like I said, is available from 1919. We will also look at the information such as agreement signed during different presidential terms. And the position of each energy partner based on the number of agreement signed. For instance, we have here the agreement during the time is a time series. Here we have the agreement by mandate in Brazil, and the ranking of partners by number of deals or agreements. We can see, for instance, the number of agreements that have signed with each country, and the percent of the total. If I want to analyze, for instance, the Brazil and the rest of the BRIC countries, we want to search the information on the signing of agreement in the energy sector between Brazil and the BRICS countries has involved. We need to enter the general panel of Brazil. We need to enter in the general panel of Brazil, and then look at the end for the energy partners. For instance, we have search for dogs. And then, sorry, we see that Brazil has 106 partners. Sorry, 106 partners. And in that list, we will search for the other BRICS countries, such as Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And in this list, we can also see the percentage weights of each country has in relation to the total agreement signed by Brazil with the world. Here we have, for instance, the date and the agreement, and we can find the document. So, for instance, if in the list we select Russia and go to the right side to where is an arrow, and there for instance, here I select Russia, sorry, and go to the right side and find information about number of agreement signed by Russia between Russia and Brazil. For instance, here we have the agreement during the time between Russia and Brazil. We have 20 agreements, and the percent of the total from Russia agreement is 4%. For instance, we observe that the nuclear energy is the first, the main resource in between these countries. This means that there was more reference to this energy source in the agreement signed between Brazil and Russia. We know that there are 20 agreements signed between Russia and Brazil. Like I say, 4% of the total agreement signed when considering considering the total number of agreements signed between Brazil and the world. In the list of agreement, we can also access the same documents in digital format, and we can see the date on which these agreements were signed, and further down, we can see the time series graphic showing the agreements signed over time. Now, after completing this produce, we can obtain this summary of Brazil energy relationship with the other BRICS countries. For instance, I take it dates manually. Here we see the energy. The data on energy diplomacy contained in the energy agreement signed between Brazil and the other country, which is available for Enertrix in the Enertrix platform. We see, for instance, that the resources most in this were nuclear and biofuel. We can also see that Russia represents only 4% of the agreement signed when considering Brazil with the rest of the world, while China represents 3% or 9%, India 2%, and South Africa 0%. It is difficult to get this without knowing Brazil relationship with other bloc or region of the world, which I would like to show an example from Brazil and the Latin American countries. Here you can see for instance, the number of agreements that Brazil have signed with the other countries from this region, and we can see that. We can see that from 1919 to 2022, is much higher, for example, with the entire South America region, which are Brazil's closest neighbors. Brazil has signed 119 agreements in the energy sector, and Argentina is the main energy partner, having signed 40 agreements. The question.
Sorry to interrupt. We are running. Okay, thank you.
Yes. I am finalizing, and I only want to say about the BRICS countries still face many challenges in the area of energy diplomacy, especially considering the bloc is now expanded, and we need to strengthen the relationship to face global challenges related to energy insecurity. And to improve this relationship, it is necessary to understand how energy diplomacy has evolved and in what direction it is heading. And the question may be, how can we understand how energy diplomacy has evolved among the countries, the BRICS countries? And maybe a solution and an answer, is the Energy platform aims to be a solution in this regard, assisting with the data search and summarize the information about numerical tables and charts and maps and these kind of things. And this is all. I'm sorry for the extrapolate the time, and thank you and spasiba.
Thank you very much for your contributions, Astrid. Before we finish, I would like to invite you all to our next panel on energy resource, infrastructure, technology security, and energy integration, which is going to start right now. You can find the link to the meeting on the chat. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. And I would like to thank our panelists for the valuable contributions and thank each one of you for attending and engaging with us. Any questions you can put on the chat, and maybe we can answer later by email or in a future meeting. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.